touch with the ground. I'm on the hunt, I'm after you. Smell like a sound.
Joining me on the phone from Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty, attorney Lucas Weber. Good morning, Lucas. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Meg. I'm doing great.
Well, it is Friday, so I'm sure that I know that you shared with me that you're going to be leaving a less desirable state of mind. No, well, you're leaving Washington, D.C. very soon, and you're thrilled about it and coming back to the motherland.
Yes.
That's, I mean, obviously, you were there probably for work-related reasons, but I wanted to chat with you because there are some updates, and actually, we're going to have a couple of updates on the situation in the Dane County area, the Sun Prairie Area School District, and Will has filed a federal complaint now. Let's talk about it and why the response, because I guess we'd all like to know, really, this is precedent setting with regard to how school districts are going to handle situations like this.
Yeah, so you've obviously talked about the underlying incident before, but there were four students who, four minor students, girls, and an 18-year-old biological male exposed himself to those four girls in the shower. And the school district said they were investigating it, but ultimately did nothing. Our concern is that, parents and students need to feel safe. They need to have peace of mind when kids go back to school this fall. The school district here has been dismissive on how they handled what is, we believe, sexual harassment towards these four girls. So we've asked the Department of Education and the Office of Civil Rights there to promptly investigate those allegations and swiftly bring a remedy that can give those parents and those students that peace of mind to know that they're not going to have to endure this back in another school year.
And I hate to be the bearer of bad news to our listeners, but I believe last night in Dane County, the Dane County Board of Supervisors voted, 25-1 to make Dane County a sanctuary city for transgender surgeries. I think isn't that essentially what their resolution, which is non-binding, has stated?
I'm actually not familiar with what's going on in Dane County. I guess I've been in D.C. all week, so I'm a little maybe out of the loop as to that one.
Well, I think, I have this actually right here in front of me, making Dane County a transgender sanctuary county, and this would include underage minors for transition drugs and surgical procedures. So there's obviously a lot going on in Dane County, and I mean, if you look at the rest of the country, there's certain states, Democrat-run states, that are behaving in a similar manner, and what eventually begins, what I always say, on one of the coasts ends up in the Midwest, and we've found ourselves in this situation here in Wisconsin. So what do you anticipate will be the next steps if the Sun Prairie School District does not respond adequately?
Yeah, well, ultimately, right now it's what we've done is essentially kick off an administrative proceeding, an investigative proceeding. So Title IX is federal law. Many of your listeners are probably familiar with it. Title IX is the federal law in the Civil Rights Act, which prohibits the discrimination on the basis of sex in education programs and activities. As I said, we believe what happened to those girls amounts to sexual harassment. Sexual harassment certainly rises to the level of sex discrimination under Title IX. And so we've asked for the federal government to investigate that and to launch that investigation. As to how quickly or what the next steps would be, it's probably a little too early to tell until we get something back from the Department of Education, but we will certainly keep you and your listeners in the loop.
Have you had any response of any kind from the school district at this point?
Well, we did submit an open records request back at the end of April related to the incident. We requested some policies, we requested some other documents. The school district responded and told us it would cost $11,000 in prepayment before they would give us those records. And so they haven't even provided the policies regarding the matter or clarified when or where male and female students can use locker rooms in the district or anything like that, which is really all gets to just the peace of mind that we're trying to get for those parents, and just helping the public understand what the policy is that's actually being enforced here in the district.
Can you take any action against the school district for violating the open records request?
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly, state law requires public authorities to respond as soon as practical without delay. Of course, the school district here did respond. They're just saying that it's going to cost $11,000. And certainly there are legal remedies available, but I can't really discuss where we're at on all those right now.
I don't blame you. Yeah, and I mean, I as I recall, there were essentially two people from the district that you were trying to focus on their communications. I believe one of them was the superintendent, and the other one was the principal at Sun Prairie High School. I think it's is it considered Madison East? I don't know if that's accurate or not. But I mean, they were claiming, as if I remember this correctly, that the individuals themselves were going to, if they were going to retrieve the emails, that would be their salary equivalent to the time it would take them to do that, which is ridiculous. I've submitted many open records requests, and it's always the IT person, and oftentimes they use the least expensive employee in the entity to do that type of work, because then obviously it costs less.
Yep, exactly, and that's what public authorities are supposed to do on public records cases. So you are correct in what you said here. We were told it'd basically be the hourly rate of these very well-paid school administrators who would be searching their own emails. It's supposed to be the lowest-paid employee who's capable of making the search, who conducts those. So an IT person or somebody who's not the highest-paid employee in the district or one of the highest-paid employees in the district. So. Certainly seems a little like there's something else going on there, but we are looking into it and hope to have an update on that very soon as well.
It is interesting, Lucas, because I mean, I myself have also had to provide emails that were, specific emails, and I had to perform the searches myself, and I know that it doesn't take a lot of time, and it doesn't take an IT genius to do that kind of work. Use a search term. I mean, it's just like running a search on the internet. So, I mean, it really is. It's interesting to me, and I guess I don't know. Do you perceive this as just a delay tactic that the district attorney or I should say, the school district's attorney advised them to do?
I can't speak to what their motives are, but I think it's something that we see oftentimes when there are school districts or when there are public authorities generally. One way in which they can try to discourage people from seeking records is to charge really, really high fees up front. And I don't know for sure that's what they're doing here, but we've certainly seen that in other contexts. And again, something we're looking into, and there are legal remedies available, and hopefully we have an update for you soon.
Well, and one last thing before I let you go. I know you want to get on a plane ASAP, but are there other cases or are there other violations with the Sun Prairie School District that you can cite?
Yeah, so we actually we put out a press release that has there's really a pattern of civil rights violations that we say against the students, whether it was the district failing to protect students from a teacher who was videotaping them, or retaliation against other parents who've exercised their rights, and some racial incidents in Sun Prairie. We put all those out in a press release where we kind of summarize them and then link to the documents. So would really encourage anybody who is interested to go to our website at will-law.org, and you can see that press release and you can see all those materials firsthand.
Are you aware of any other districts in the country that are, well, I guess I should say incidents in the country that have had similar situations come up?
Nothing that was this
as egregious as
that I'm aware of that's the same. But these are I say troubling events kind of along these lines are occurring across the country.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's so important that the federal government here reviews this complaint that we filed, investigates this matter, and really gives those parents and those students the peace of mind to know that when they come back in the fall, they're not going to have to endure what these poor girls had to endure last school year.
Yeah, it's almost as if they're testing us. Well, we're ready. We're up. We're up for the fight. Well, Lucas Weber, thank you so much for joining me this morning from Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty. And again, you can go out to will-law.org to learn more about their great organization. Fly safely.
Thank you.
Have a great
Thank you,
weekend.
Meg. Have a great day.
Thanks.
Take care.
Thanks.